So, hello everybody. My name is Frankie, and I'm really excited about today. Paulina has contacted me about doing a specialized IELTS writing class with you guys, and I really hope it's useful, people. Obviously, it's a challenge that you're going to be facing with regards to trying to accumulate a certain score to get points for your visa. So I really hope that this next hour and a half can be of some kind of use for you. You can take something away from it, get some useful practice for your own individual journeys, because I'm sure you're all at different points. Some of you might just be hearing about this for the first time, IELTS. Others might be having a test in a few weeks. So you're probably at different points in your journey. So guys, let me get straight into it. And what I'm going to do, people, is share a screen. And it's just a PowerPoint presentation that I've prepared. And it's related to the IELTS writing section. So I'm sure some of you have taken the test and you're familiar with how it works. Okay, people, let's start with my presentation, which is just giving a little bit of an overview, first of all, guys, about the IELTS writing section of the exam. And as you'll know, it's one of 4 parts of the whole test: writing, speaking, listening, reading. And I feel that the writing one is sometimes one that requires a little bit more focus because it's quite specific with the structure. So anyway, the writing section of the test, guys, is in 2 parts. Part 1, which is depending on the academic, or if it's general, it would be either the graph question or the letter. And part 2 is the essay. And the essay could be one of 5 choices, guys. So there's generally 5 options with the essay style that you would get. One is a discuss both sides question and give your opinion. One is an opinion essay, and the kind of wording in the question would normally be something like, to what extent do you agree with, or do you agree or disagree? The third kind you might get is the 2-part question, where you're asked 2 different questions within the same essay title. Then there's an advantages and disadvantages essay, a problems and solutions. And as you can see, what all 5 essay types have in common is that they have 2 parts that require answering. So in some ways that makes thinking about the structure a little bit easier, because you can structure your essay into 2 distinct sections. So let's look, guys, at how would I plan my IELTS essay. So this slide is looking at how I would plan my IELTS essay. So I receive a question in the exam. What's the first steps that I take? So I've devised, guys, a little acronym, UBCADE, that could be useful for you. And it's one way to think about planning that essay. So the U part is about underlining the key words in the question. Just so you know, first of all, what type of essay it is. So the words in the question are going to give you a clue about what type of essay. And also it can help you to really understand what they're asking about, the key idea. Then, guys, I would tend to brainstorm ideas related to the question. So just on a scrap piece of paper, just bullet point some ideas that can correlate to the question. Then from there, guys, the K, I would find 2 key words or 2 key ideas to refine your argument. So one for each main body paragraph. Then I would establish your argument to clarify your opinion. So in the discuss both sides question, guys, it asks you to give an opinion. So once you've established your ideas and you've actually refined it into 2 key points, you can think, okay, which side do I agree with more? Do I sit on the fence? Where do I sit in relation to the question? Then guys, the D is the detail. So provide some detail to your main body paragraphs to add further explanation. It might be a statistic, it might be a study, anything that would give you a little bit more detail for your key idea. And then guys, some expressions, some linking expressions that could help to add flow and grammatical variation to your argument as well. So what grammar structures are important, things like that. So this is just your planning phase, everyone. So I've got an example question here, people. And the question is, some people think that the internet has brought people closer together, while others think that people and communities are becoming more isolated. Discuss both sides and give your opinion. So what I've done, guys, I've applied my own formula, UPCADE, to this question. So what are the key words? I'm underlining the key words. So the way I see it, guys, I know it's a discuss both sides question, giving my opinion. And I can see that there's a split between the internet being essentially good for our social health and the other side, internet being a little bit detrimental to our social health. So that's essentially the split that I identified. Then guys, this is going to look a little, there's a lot of text on this slide, but it doesn't matter really what you put in this section, because it's all about your brainstorm of your ideas. So I've said here, guys, don't worry about the structure at this point. Just get your ideas down. And it's based on the key words here, guys, from the question. Internet has brought us closer together is side A. Side B, people and communities are becoming more isolated. So my initial ideas, guys, for the internet bringing us closer together, online community groups, podcasts, Facebook, meetups. You can find groups that share your interests. Easier to stay in touch with family and friends. And it's more instant communication, so you can see your friends more easily. So I've put that, guys, as my brainstorm for why the internet brings us closer together. On the other side, I've put it's a decline in traditional face-to-face contact. It's more virtual communication, and maybe a privatization and commercialization of social life. So it's a decline in community-led gatherings like volunteering and youth clubs, car boot sales, community-led activity. And it's been replaced by more promotional-based marketing events from business startups who use the internet as a platform. And maybe that's led to a bit of a decline in the social essence of our life. So that's how I've split it up, guys, into two parts. Then stage 3, what I've done, people, is I've tried to formulate two key ideas. And you can see this, people, at the bottom of the page. So I've got my brainstorm at the top, and my key idea from A is sharing and communication potential. So the sharing is related to the podcasts, Facebook, meetups. We can share our interests, and the communication potential is about with our family and friends, and also seeing people quicker. So I've condensed all of my brainstorm, guys, into this key idea from side A. And similarly with side B, I've also condensed the brainstorm into a succinct key idea. And that key idea, guys, is growing virtuality. So virtuality being basically online meetups rather than face-to-face. And also maybe this idea of kind of fake promotional communities that maybe don't have the same depth as traditional friendship groups. So what's stage 4, guys, would be to establish my argument. So my key idea from side A was the sharing communication potential, as I said. Side B was the growing virtuality and the fake promotional communities. But I've said, guys, that I side 75% of the way with side A. So I think the internet's been a good thing for our social life, and maybe only 25% with side B. So that gives me, guys, my thesis statement. And we'll come on to that when we look at the overall structure. But the thesis statement is basically your argument for the essay. And I've said, guys, to summarize, I tend to side more strongly with side A, whilst acknowledging that side B has some valid considerations. So how do I provide more detail? So my key idea, guys, from side A, was sharing and communication potential. So I've said, guys, my detail is it's online communities such as podcasts and meetup groups. Communication potential is easier to connect with friends and family and organize meetups. So that's my detail, guys, that I've added. Then the key idea from side B, growing virtuality and fake community organization or communities. I've said it's a shift in how we socialize, online forums, gaming instead of meetups. This is for the virtual life. And for the promotional social life, I've said it's entrepreneurial socializing rather than community socializing. So I've put forward an argument there. So step 6, guys, is some expressions that might help with my argument. So this question is looking at cause-effect language. So I'm just going to make this a bit bigger while I explain that, guys. So cause-effect language, the cause that we're looking at, people, is the internet. The internet is considered to be the cause. Whoops. And the effect is considered to be, is it either more or less socially healthy now? So that's the kind of question we're looking at. The internet's the cause. The effect is whether or not we're more or less socially healthy. So guys, some language that I've used. Cause A, so the internet. And then you could say, guys, has resulted in, has caused, has led to, has helped facilitate, has contributed to, result X, Y, or Z. So that's, guys, just some cause-effect language that could be useful. Then, guys, you could flip it. So you could say the result first. So let's say the result is improved social potential has been influenced by, so this is the passive, the internet. Or improved social potential is partially because of the internet. Or improved social potential is partially a result of the internet. Or, yeah, and we can see, guys, the internet is the cause. So we can either say the cause first and then the effect, or the result first and then the cause. Okay, so let me just address the other grammatical points there, guys, in this slide. So then we have introducing arguments, guys, or the commonly held view. So this we would do at the beginning of each main body paragraph when we're highlighting what is the view of a particular side. So we could say here, many people consider in the active voice, or it is widely considered in the passive voice. Some people argue in the active voice, or it is commonly argued in the passive voice. So that's simply, guys, the first sentence you would use in your main body paragraph. You could use one of those expressions. Then what we look at here, guys, is agreeing and disagreeing with the common view. Because at a certain point in your essay, you need to give your opinion. So you would say here, guys, so when you're agreeing, this essay tends to support this perspective, could be one way you do it, or this essay sides more strongly with this position, or this essay adheres to the views presented above. just 3 possibilities for agreeing. Then disagree, you could say, whilst this view is undoubtedly, then you could say undoubtedly valid or undoubtedly credible, or whilst this view is worthy of consideration, or whilst this view provides some noteworthy points, and then you could give an example, most notably or in particular. Then guys, you slightly disagree. So you might say this essay offers a slightly different perspective, diverges slightly from the aforementioned view, or it departs somewhat from this position. So just some ideas, guys, for how to structure when you agree and disagree. Okay, guys, what I want to do, I want to now share a document with you, and you're going to do, people, a quick activity to try and put my essay in the correct order that I wrote it. So it's going to be based, guys, on this structure. So when you're structuring your discuss both sides essay, you would put, guys, in the introduction, you paraphrase the question, you'd introduce the debate, you'd give a thesis statement, outline sentence. In the middle 2 paragraphs, guys, you'd introduce side A with some of the language, guys, that I showed before. So many people consider, it is widely considered. That would be your first sentence of the main body paragraph. Then, guys, you would discuss that argument. So you would give explanation of why they have that opinion. Then you introduce your opinion of that view. And guys, that is the moment when you might agree and disagree. So that's when you introduce your language of agreeing and disagreeing. And then, guys, you would give your own justification or explanation for why you agree or disagree. So why do you think it's a valid or not so valid perspective? Then, guys, the conclusion, restate the debate and summarize your thesis statement. So people, what I'm going to do is share a document, guys, in the chat. And from there, it's what you would need to do is open the document and then put my sentences in that order which corresponds with the structure that I just showed. So let me share that with you guys. Now, okay, so guys, you should be able to see that in your chat at this point. So it says, guys, put the sentences or order the sentences. So if you open up that document, guys, again, I can share my screen. It will hopefully look one second, guys. Yeah, let me open it up first and I'll share my screen. So, okay. Now, guys, just let me know, have you been able to open the document?
Yes.
Great. So, guys, from there, what I want you to do is try and put that in order. And in the meantime, I'll share my screen with how the structure would need to look. So try and think, guys, about that structure for that question. And which sentence would correspond with each sentence. Guys, I'll give you 5 minutes. 5 minutes to try and do that. Okay, so guys, I see some of you are on your phone. So what I'm going to do is share it on my screen as well. So
Okay,
just
thank
bear with
you.
me, guys. Yeah. So hopefully, guys, you can see it at this point here. I'll give you a couple more minutes, guys. Then I'll show together what the final essay is. Okay, guys, what I'll do, I'll show you guys what the final essay looked like, so we can get a general picture. Okay. So guys, I'm gonna share again with you my PowerPoint. So guys, how it looked, if we pieced it all together, guys. Now, I'm gonna just hopefully be able to share both of these together. Okay, guys. So guys, just to check, can you see? No, it's probably better if I just do one. Okay. Okay, guys. So the first sentence was, the effects of the internet on our social life is a topical discussion. Now, that sentence, people, I have just paraphrased the question. So just a reminder, guys, the question was, some people think the internet has brought us closer. So I've just said it's a topical discussion at the moment. Then I've summarized the debate. So proponents of online communication believe we have become more connected through this medium, whilst opponents consider people and communities to be more atomized. So in that sentence, guys, I have introduced the debate. So proponents being the people for, and opponents being the people against. Then, guys, I have highlighted my thesis statement. So this essay argues that whilst the internet has led to some changes, social changes, its effects have been largely inclusive in bringing people together. So at that point, guys, I have given my thesis statement. Then the outline sentence, guys, both sides will be addressed in turn. So that just simply means, guys, one side will be discussed first, then the other one after. And that is our outline sentence. Then the main body, paragraph 1. Many people contend that the internet has vastly shifted our social landscape, providing greater opportunities to connect with like-minded people. So that is introducing people, side A. They point to platforms such as Facebook and websites like Meetups, which provide a sharing environment for people to come together and build relationships around mutual interests. So at that point, guys, I have discussed their argument. So why do they have that opinion? Then I introduce my opinion. So I say here, this essay tends to support this perspective. And guys, going back to the language of agreeing and disagreeing, when you agree, this essay tends to support this perspective. That's one option. So I've given, guys, my opinion about that side of the argument. Then the reason why I think that. So podcasts and online learning platforms provide a compelling way for people to share ideas and make meaningful connections. So I've essentially paraphrased the reason given by many people. I've just said it with different examples. So instead of Facebook and meetups, I've said podcasts and learning programs. Okay, then guys, I've come on to paragraph B. So introduce side B now, guys. It's the same structure, but the opinion is obviously going to be slightly different. But the structure is staying the same. So first sentence, on the other hand, other commentators consider the internet to be detrimental to social life, leading to increased isolation. And why do they have that view, guys? So discuss the main argument, why they have that view. So such detractors highlight a substitution of face-to-face contact with online interaction, such as video gaming and online gambling. It is also suggested that the internet has helped facilitate a shift in the function of social life away from community-led council-funded celebrations of local culture to more promotional events funded by entrepreneurs and businesses. So at that point, guys, I give my opinion. So do I agree or do I disagree? And I've accepted a little bit, because remember, guys, in my thesis statement, I didn't say I completely disagreed. I said it was a 75% agreement, and I did side 25% with side B. So I say here, guys, this essay accepts some of it. Yeah, I accept it could be true. But then I give my opinion, guys. In fact, such events and the general growth in online communication still has a valuable social function in bringing people together to enhance their professional development. Then, guys, simply I conclude, overall, this essay has presented the two polarized views on the impact of the internet on our social experience. It has reasoned that despite facilitating an evolving social environment, the effects have been positive in our potential to share our interests with others and to accommodate different types of social communication. Okay, so guys, what I'm going to do now is you guys are going to have an opportunity to practice an essay question, discuss both sides, and I'm going to briefly share people two documents that you could find useful. One is just with the plan that I mentioned. So here, guys, you would simply type the essay title. Then you do the U section. So underline the keywords. Then, guys, I've given you a gap to brainstorm your own ideas. Then find two key ideas to refine your argument. Establish your argument. So what percentage is that? Are you 25%, 50, 75, 100? So where do you fall in that debate? Then, guys, give detail. So maybe, guys, you can include some of your ideas from your brainstorm and add them to your key ideas. And lastly, guys, you can refer maybe back to some of the expressions that I showed or add your own. How can you make your argument flow, and what grammar would you need? So I would suggest, guys, spending maybe 5 to 10 minutes on the plan. And once you've done that, guys, I'll share that document in 1 second. You can write your essay. And I've also got a little template, guys, you can use for that. So write the title, the first sentence. This is the main body paragraph, guys, the structure. Introduce the first side. Introduce the general opinion. Explanation of the opinion, and then your opinion as well, guys. So whether or not you agree or disagree. So I'm going to split you guys into 2 breakout rooms. And one breakout room, guys, is going to spend 20 minutes on a question in an exam situation. And for the other group, guys, how I'm going to structure it is you're going to plan an essay, and then we can talk about your plan, and maybe I can answer some of your questions as well about that. But I'll split you guys into the breakout rooms. First of all, I will share the 2 documents. So I'm going to share a document, guys. So here comes the plan for the discuss both sides question. So guys, I'll just share that file with you now. And it's using the template that I discussed, guys. And here is the template for writing your 2 main body paragraphs. Okay, so that should be there, guys. Guys, have you received those 2 documents?
I haven't. Could you also share your screen for these ones, please?
Yes, I will. I will
Thank you.
share my screen. So first of all, guys, let me work out how I'm going to do this with the sharing of the screen. I'm going to split you into 2 breakout rooms, guys. And so, yeah, and then I'll join your breakout room after that. So I'm just going to randomly do it, guys. It's going to be 2 groups. Create rooms. Okay, great. So guys, breakout room number 1. This is Diana. Diana, Huey, Jaime, Natalia. You guys are going to do, I'm going to give you 20 minutes, people, like I said, and you're going to try and plan and write however much you can of an essay question that I give. And then breakout room 2 is going to be Florencia, Lorena, and Sergio. And guys, we're going to maybe have more of an informal type session where we can even exchange our own ideas. So bear with me, guys. I'm just going to open up the rooms. So you need to join your breakout room. Okay, so guys, what we'll do at this point, people, I'll just wait for everybody else to rejoin from their breakout room. Yeah, guys, what I'll do is, so Florencia, I just got your message. So how did you send it to me? Did you send an email or?
No, a file in the other room, but I can send you the
what
file.
I'll do, let me share my email. So guys, I'm writing my email down here. So if you guys wanted to send me an email of your essay, then that's absolutely fine. And like I said to the other group, guys, send me your email, send me your essay and your plan, because that will allow me to see how your plan and essay is marrying up. So maybe you need to tweak something in your plan in order to get a better structure in your essay. So yeah, email me both of those, guys, the plan and the essay. Now, guys, we have, I think everyone has returned to the room. So does anybody have any questions, guys, about any of the process? Would anyone like to share something before we move away? So give you guys a chance. Any questions, or do you have anything you want to share? Yeah. What I'm going to do, people, is put the file of the PowerPoint here into the presentation, sorry, into the chat. So with a bit of luck, guys, you would have received that writing presentation. You can download it, and it's important, guys. One of the more important bits for me is understanding that structure. So guys, yeah, so just, guys, this slide here. So structuring, guys, your essay,
Yes.
I think that one is a very important slide, guys, for you to discuss both sides, because you can see exactly when you need to introduce your opinion. And you can also see, guys, that in this style of essay, you need to introduce the general view of that side before you introduce your opinion. And that structure, guys, is really important for the discuss both sides question. So bear that in mind, people. And guys, I also have in there a link to a YouTube video that I've created as well, that gives some expressions about how you can introduce the common view. And the common view, guys, is what you would need in your main body when you introduce the argument. The video, guys, also has some reporting verbs. So how can you introduce what other people think? Emphasizing expressions, and also some more language of agreeing and disagreeing that we used, that I showed you guys in the PowerPoint as well. So you can check out that video in your own time. So guys, can I just double check? Were you guys able to download the presentation, the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Okay, everybody. So does anyone have any questions, guys, before we conclude? Florencia, did you have one?
Yeah, I have. If we don't have arguments, like it's allowed to have like 100% and have not balance between the arguments?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So let me show you how that would look. So if I just refer guys back to PowerPoint.
And the other thing is to paraphrase the question. We don't have to put the same statement as the topic. We have to change the words or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're absolutely right. You would need to paraphrase the question. All right, I'm sharing my screen. So to answer your first question first, Francia, it was about if you were 100% agreeing with something, how that would look. So I'm just going to use the example, one of the examples that we were looking at, which was your one. Should schools teach you about skills or subjects?
Yes.
So let's say your thesis statement in your case was this essay suggests or this essay completely supports
yes,
the view that proposes a skilled-based education. Let's say side A, you were looking at subjects. So you would still say, for side A, some people suggest subjects are important for giving us a general knowledge, or whatever your argument was. And then you would still say why they think that. So these proponents believe this type of education can improve both our logical and creative faculties. Which can be achieved by blending maths and science-based subjects, for example, or arts, or science and arts-based subjects. But at that point, you don't have to agree with it. You could say, however, this essay rejects this standpoint because. So you have acknowledged the argument, you've said why they believe that, but then you've said, no, but this essay disagrees with this idea. And then you need to say why. So you need to say why you disagree, because perhaps a lot of these skills or a lot of these subjects are unrelated to our adult experience, for example, and you might give more information depending on how you structured it. But that would be how you do it. So you would acknowledge that argument and suggest why they think that. And then you could, if you wanted, completely reject that. And that would still be supporting that view 100%.
Okay.
So do you see what I'm saying there, Florencia?
Yes. Thank you. I
You're
think
welcome.
I sent to you the, I think it's similar.
Yeah.
I sent to you by email.
That's great. And your second question, what was your second question? Did you have a second question?
It was restate the debate. How would be in the conclusion? Oh
yeah. So when you restate the debate, all you're doing is summarizing the conversation again.
So I have to put the same thing that we introduced the debate, but we have to put in a different way.
Yeah, but you have to paraphrase it again. Exactly. So you have to say it differently. So maybe
put both sides in different words.
Yeah, in different words. So this essay has analyzed the debate related to education, ... But maybe in the introduction, you could say a topical debate, or how children or a child's experience in school is a topical debate. So you've used different words. You've used education in the conclusion, school in the introduction, debate in the introduction, maybe discussion in the conclusion. So as long as you're adapting the words, that's fine.
But sorry to interrupt you, Frankie, but in the conclusion, you also have to state your personal opinion again at the end to summarize everything. Okay.
Absolutely. So when at the end, you would summarize your thesis statement. So let's use your example, Natalia. You were looking at university or work experience. So you could say, this essay has analyzed the discussion related to how, or the role.
Something similar. I wrote like, this essay has presented two views, whether academic training or experience will guarantee a good job. Even though experience is extremely important while developing a role, the academic training is essential to start this process. I wrote something like that.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely fine. Could you just read that last sentence again, Natalia?
I wrote, even though experience is extremely important while developing a role, the academic training is essential to start this process.
Perfect. Yeah, and that would be the case in your introduction, and you'd need to restate it in your conclusion, but just using different wording, different vocabulary. So let's say you said, whilst work experience is vital for our development, this essay believes a university education is a essential prerequisite. And then in the conclusion, you could say something like, this essay argued that although job opportunities, although gaining early access to job opportunities is important, our university experience provides us with invaluable skills for our future job. So as long as you've paraphrased how you write the thesis statement, it's important to restate it in the conclusion.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay, guys. Any more questions, people?
No.
So, guys, if you get any more questions, just email them to me. I've shared my email. I hope this was useful for you guys. And yeah,
Yes, it was
that's good.
great. It was great. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, you're welcome, guys. And I hope it helps and you can use some of the ideas. And as Paulina said, guys, I'm on Instagram if you want to follow me at Frankie says IELTS. Yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully see you guys again and keep in touch. And I'm sure we're going to be doing more of these presentations, lessons online. So well done, guys, and have a good evening. And I'll get back to you on the emails.